So I have finally made my decision when it comes to which Bilt 2.0 credit card that I have chosen. And I kind of wanted to break down the reasons as to why I decided to get the card I did and the reasons why I chose not to get the cards I did not get. Now, if you're watching this video, I do expect that you have watched many other videos on this Bilt 2.0 rollout and you kind of know what these cards look like. But I also did want to mention, as of the day of this recording, the CEO of Bilt, Ankur Jain, did kind of release some new updates on the Bilt 2.0 program and is giving everyone another option on how they can pay their rent and still earn points. I think this rollout has been very complicated and they've been kind of changing things on a whim, and it's not that ideal. But again, if you're wading through all the noise, I think there are some nuggets of goodness there. But let's just take a look at what this new change to the Bilt 2.0 program is. So something that the CEO is highlighting is that Bilt cardholders will never be charged a fee to earn rewards on housing payments, which is, always good that they're not destroying the credit card's core benefit, I guess. So, woo! Under this new proposed change, though, they are allowing people to earn up to 1.25x points on their rent, which I think for the people who have a ton of natural spend is kind of a great option. So what this new option is a simple fee-free way to earn rewards on housing. Pay your full rent or mortgage every month with no transaction fee, and then earn points on housing automatically in lieu of earning Bilt Cash. While everyday spend will not earn Bilt Cash, you will still get your annual or welcome Bilt Cash credits with the card, and the more you use your card for everyday spend, the higher your points multiplier or housing, now up to 1.25x. So to break down how many points you would earn on your housing, if you spend at least 25% of your monthly rent, in an example of a $2,000 per month rent, you'd have to spend $500 that month on the card to earn 0.5x points. If you spend at least 50% of your monthly rent, so $1,000 in this case, you would earn 0.75x points on rent. And if you spend at least 75% of your monthly rent, in this case $1,500 on the card each month, you would earn 1x points. And if you spend at least the same amount of your rent on the card each month, you will earn 1.25x points. Now, this is something that I probably will not be able to do. If I had a random specific large purchase that I had to make, maybe I would switch over to this option for a month to get the points. So while this option isn't great for me, again, this could be a great option for some people. Now, just to emphasize that if you choose this option, you will not earn that 4% Bilt Cash on everyday purchases. So again, you kind of have to do the math, weigh the pros and cons of your specific situation, and go from there. Then just like today, if you don't hit the minimum spend requirement, you will still earn 250 points per month. So that it is nice that even if you only put $10 on the card for the month, you'll still get something, which 250 points, not that much, won't move the needle, but hey, better than nothing for a purchase you already had to make. Now, again, if you decide to not go with that option, you can still choose the original Bilt 2.0 rollout with 4% Bilt Cash on all your purchases, using Bilt Cash to offset the rent fees. Again, you'll never have to pay those rent fees, but that Bilt Cash will allow you to unlock those rent points. So if you are not familiar with that new Bilt 2.0 language, feel free to pause the video and go over it right here. Another thing to mention is that you can switch between option 1 and option 2 every month. So you don't have to make that choice, I believe, 1 month in advance. They say you're just going to be able to go into the app and say, hey, I would like to do option 1 or option 2 for the next month. So I do think that is kind of nice. The flexibility is cool. Again, it does make the program way more complicated, and I understand why there are a lot of people jumping off the Bilt ship right now. But for the reason you're all here, after all this new news that has come out, which Bilt 2.0 credit card am I getting? So overall, my thoughts on the Bilt 2.0 program is that things are complicated for no reason. I understand that Bilt needs to get more spend on their credit cards. They can't just have people buy 4 bananas every month. But in the way they're doing things, I get it. I am not as angry as other people, but it's just very complicated. And I always hate when, normally it's video games add a second kind of currency, but now that my credit card is adding a second currency, that's not great in my opinion. I also don't like how they are doing all these changes after the fact, where they're offering this new program that if they announced Bilt 2.0 with these 2 different options, I think people would be a lot less angry than they are right now. I also do have to say that for people who think the sky is falling, who are super doom and gloom and think this is the worst thing ever, I think people need to calm down a little bit. These cards are not for everyone, and if this card used to be for you and now it isn't, I can understand being upset. At the end of the day, for me personally, this program still works. Now, will it only work for 1 year and I might have to reevaluate? Yes. But I think things move so fast in the credit card game that if you're trying to think multiple years out, I think you're wasting a lot of your time. So I just made a pros and cons list for each card that I'm considering. Again, these are, things for me personally. These cards might have more benefits that work for some people, but I just wanted to say what are the pros for me and what are the cons for me if I were to have this card. So first, let's take a look at the Bilt Blue card. And I didn't really have much to say about this card. It is nice that there is no annual fee. And technically, you can still earn points on your rent, and 4% Bilt Cash is cool, but again, that's on every card. But really, I just didn't really consider this card as a possible option. It's just 1x on everything, so I'm never going to want to put spend on this card. If this was the old Bilt card and it was just 1x everything, but I could put, my 4 bananas on it, then that's fine, but, not that interested. I've also seen for the people who have gotten approved for this card, it has a very low limit, like $500 or something like that, so not interested in that at all. It would only be a Bilt Cash play, and I do think there is a spot in the Bilt ecosystem for people who just are averse to paying annual fees. 4% cash back on everything is pretty awesome. Again, it is very limited in how you can use it, but there might be some people out there that can earn a ton of Bilt Cash. They can use it for the Bilt portal, and that will make them happy, or they can use that Bilt Cash to, again, get points on rent, and if that's all they care about, maybe that works for them, and, all the power to them. But just overall, it's a bad earner, and I have other cards that I can put spend on. So the Bilt Blue card, I'm just going to say right out of the way that I did not really consider this card for more than about 30 seconds. Next is the Bilt Obsidian card, which I think is a very interesting credit card. It earns 3x on either dining or grocery. I think I would pick grocery just because I have other 3x dining cards, and a 3x grocery card that isn't the Capital One Saver card I think is a great addition to my wallet. And using that grocery, it would pair great in a Chase setup because, again, all my Chase points are just going to Hyatt. So with Bilt also transferring to Hyatt, that's that missing grocery category that Chase has right there. I could be paired together and it would be great. Again, the setup of the card is basically just the Chase Sapphire Preferred with just a little bit more of an annoying hotel credit. And everyone likes the Chase Sapphire Preferred, or if you don't like it, everyone puts up with it because it seems like everyone has a Chase Sapphire Preferred. So I think it's really hard to hate on this card. And again, that 4% Bilt Cash on top of everything makes this card have a really nice value proposition for just $95 a year. Some cons with this card is that the hotel credit is very weak. It's broken up into two $50 segments, January through June and July through December. But the most annoying thing about this credit is that it does require a 2-night minimum. Do I really want to have a 2-night minimum for a $50 credit? For a Bilt portal that has been known to have inflated prices, that $50 might turn into like $25 real quick. So the credit's not great, but I don't think the credit is the reason why you get this card. And then for me personally, while I do buy groceries, my grocery spend isn't a ton every month, so I would not be earning enough Bilt Cash to use it for my rent. I'd still be earning Bilt Cash that, again, I could stack with that hotel credit. I think that's how that should work. Again, there are things we don't necessarily know yet, which is kind of annoying, but whatever. And overall, the Bilt Obsidian card would be a utility card in a Chase setup, and I don't think that's what Bilt wants, so you're not going to get the biggest Bilt value out of it, which for some people, again, if you just need that grocery card and you're transferring all your points to Hyatt anyway, again, I think this is a great card for you. Now let's take a look at the Bilt Palladium card. Pros, 2x on everything. Again, pretty nice. The only 2x everything card I have right now is the Capital One Venture card, and I am trying to get my spend away from Capital One, so this would be a good replacement for it. You also do receive yearly Bilt Cash. I believe it's $200. So again, $200 with your $400 hotel credit. I think that's kind of nice each year. I don't think I would use my Bilt Cash for rent just because I think that Bilt Cash is better served in the hotel portal. And if you really just need to liquidate it, you're probably getting better value if you're using it for Lyft or something like that. Again, run the math, see what works best for you. Because again, I think different people with different situations might get different results. But that yearly Bilt Cash, well, I probably don't value it at $200. It is still something nice. Again, 4% Bilt Cash on everything. Pretty cool. So you're kind of, maybe earning 6x or 6% cash back on everything, which again, that's not really how that works. But, some people would argue that Priority Pass is really nice. Whenever I travel on American Airlines, I don't have any lounge access. So it would be nice to have Priority Pass lounge access whenever I do fly American. Again, I don't want to pay $469 or whatever it costs for Priority Pass itself. And the value I get from the credits does bring my effective annual fee down for this card, so I'm not too concerned about that. This card also has a really awesome welcome bonus, 50,000 Bilt points, $300 in Bilt Cash, and gold status for the year after making $4,000 purchases in the first 3 months. So the welcome bonus alone is just kind of better than everything else the other cards have to offer. And even if this card crashes and burns and the Bilt program explodes, at least that's 50,000 high points. And as I mentioned, gold status for Rakuten for the year to ensure that I have 1-to-1 payouts from Rakuten to Bilt. I do expect myself to use Rakuten for every single online purchase I make that's non-Amazon for the year of 2026. So really boosting my Bilt points balance. Don't have as many cons with the Palladium card, but they are two very large cons. Again, the $400 hotel credit that you get with this card is split up in two chunks, so January through June and July through December, and there is a 2-night minimum. While I do believe I have a way to liquidate these credits for kind of cash value by booking hotels for other people, plus the Bilt cash, I think that my effective annual fee is pretty darn close to $0. Now, that's not to say I don't have to pay that $495 annual fee. That's still that is still money coming out of my bank account. Well, I think I can put some of that money back in. I still have to cough up that money initially, and do I really want to do that? That is something I have to consider. With this card and my Delta Reserve card, as well as a smattering of random $95 annual fee cards around, this would put my total annual fee cost for credit cards over $1,000. And that's, and breaking the 4-digit barrier is something that you really have to think about when it comes to the credit card game. Are you really willing to pay over $1,000 a year to have credit cards? Now, those cards should be giving us more than $1,000 in value, but again, I still have to put that $1,000 of money out of my bank account each year. So after I've gone over these 3 cards, which one did you think I got? Now, if you have been around any of the Bilt 2.0 live streams from creators like Anthony Venture or Spencer Johnson or even John R., I have talked about which card I have gotten, so some people might be spoiled already, but let's go. Which card did I get? It's the Bilt Palladium card. Now, I don't think anyone is too surprised about this card, but the welcome offer is just too nice to pass up. 50,000 Bilt points, $300 Bilt cash, gold status. Even if the whole program explodes, I'm getting a nice amount of points. Priority Pass will also come in clutch for me for a couple of trips I already have planned, so that'll be nice. Even a value that, like maybe $10 each time I go, I'll put that into the effective annual fee. And after a year, when I do review this card, I might go down to the Obsidian if I'm not getting great value. But I do think, at least for the first year, if I had to guess, I probably will renew this card again. But things are always changing, so let's be careful. There's been a lot of noise around these Bilt changes, but if I weed through the noise and I just come to what is the value proposition for me personally, I think this works for a year. And I'm very confident that it works for a year, and I'm very confident that I'll earn a ton of points, transfer them over to Hyatt, and I'll make some really nice days. The unfortunate reality is just Bilt cards are not for everyone anymore. And I can't make that determination if the Bilt card is for you. If the Bilt card used to be for you and now it just does not work in your setup, I think that sucks and that's very unfortunate. But unfortunately, credit cards refresh and change every few years, and that's just kind of the game we play. It's time to pivot, move on, and find a better card. And like I said, if I use this card for a year and I'm like, you know what? This isn't for me anymore, I can always just get the Obsidian, right? They're gonna allow us to product change cards after a year, right? Richard Kerr did say in his Reddit AMA that we would have to have these cards for a year and that we should be able to product change, but the ability to product change is not currently functioning, or they don't have that in place at the moment, so are they gonna rug pull us? Well, if that happens, I can always just cancel. I'm not too concerned. I'm just gonna have fun for a year and see what happens. So I really wanna know, what choice did you make? Which Bilt card did you get? Did you cancel your Bilt cards? Do you agree with my decision? Have I made a good case of why the Palladium card works for me, or should I have just gotten maybe the Obsidian card? I would love your thoughts. Feel free to leave those in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed this video, feel free to give it a like, comment, subscribe. Very close to 400 subscribers. Would love to hit 400, would love to hit 500 as soon as possible. I just want to thank you for all the support on my latest Bilt video. It has quickly become one of my highest viewed videos, and it got a ton of comments on it. People had a bunch of different views on how this rollout came. So again, I would like to continue that conversation a couple days after the announcement, when maybe tensions are a little bit cooler now. What are your thoughts on the program truly, and does Bilt work for you? So again, I'll meet you all in the comments, and most importantly, have a great rest of your day.